Hi, my name is Summer Jenee, and welcome back to my channel. Today, I'm going to do part two of the psychological safety. Excuse me. And I want to read two quick excerpts for you from the book, The Fearless Organization, before I dig into um, creating psychologically safe environments. Dr. Edmondson says leaders must do to create fearless organizations, an organization where everyone can bring his or her full self to work, contribute, grow, thrive, and team up to produce remarkable results. Who doesn't want to be in that environment? The other thing I want to highlight for you today is she said, today's leaders must be willing to take on the job of driving fear out of the organization to create conditions for learning, innovation, and growth. If what we want to do as leaders is create the environment where our workforce is showing up and they're bringing innovative solutions, they're learning and they want to create change in the organization, we have to create fearless organizations. And the way we do that is we make the workplace conducive for people to show up who they authentically are. Now, I'm not saying to have a whole bunch of foolery going on in your organization. Don't get me wrong. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying we need to create environments where people can be themselves, not disrespectful, not nasty, not racist. That's not what I'm saying. Because one of the things I like to, that stuck with me on one of our first TDY trips was one of the leaders said, and I'll never forget this, he said, the behavior you allow is the culture you will get. That was so profound for me because I remember being at an event, and at this event, it was a Christmas event. At this event, they were passing out candy canes. There were, but I think maybe it was on intermission. I don't remember exactly. I just remember what happened to me at that event. I was one of the few people of color at that event, and the person who was passing out the candy skipped over me and my spouse at this event. And that was just the tip of the iceberg for the things that were going on in that particular organization. And I'm bringing it up because it's true. The behavior you allow is the culture you accept. So that set the norm, from my perspective, for what was acceptable in that particular organization. So I challenge you as leaders to not allow people to be overlooked because they're different in your organization. I have to show up as I am. I can't take my brown skin off. And I don't want to take my brown skin off. And I shouldn't have to be a part of your organization. If you want to make people feel like part of the team, then what goes for one person should go for all of the people in the organization and not just certain people. So if you want to create a fearless organization, the one that's described in this book, it starts with you as the leader. What are you doing to set the conditions so that everybody on the team feels like they're part of the team? If you're participating in exclusive activities where you're excluding people, shame on you. You're not creating an organization where people are going to want to come and work for your organization. So stop it. Make sure you're creating the environment you would want your wife, your children, your mom to work in. That's what's going to help us get to a fearless organization, a psychologically safe organization. Stop and take a look at what you may have done in the past. Know that that's not going to work in the future. I read an article last week where it said the workforce and the people who are left in the workforce, it's going to become cutthroat. And you're going to have to become an employer of choice. Nobody wants to go work in an organization where people are being isolated, people are being targeted, if you will. That's just not going to work. Employers of choice are creating those environments where people can come to work and they can flourish and they can do and be a part of teams that can do great things and create these outstanding results. Nobody wants to be on a team where they're feeling alienated. That's the word I was looking for. Nobody wants to be on a team where people are being alienated and isolated, and but you're still wanting them to co-sign on the foolishness or the foolery you have going on in your workplace, that it's the best place since sliced bread, and it's not. And you know it's not the best thing since sliced bread. Get yourself together as a leader, command your organization, and then show up the way you want your people to show up. That's how you're going to create that fearless organization. You have to lead by example first, and then set the tone in the atmosphere, set the tone and the culture in your organization, so that you are leading by example and setting the atmosphere for where people want to come to work. They want to come and work for and with you. You have to lead first. So how are you leading? My call to action today is you be the leader and be the example that you want to be for your organization. That's all I have for you today. Hit that subscribe button if you want to hear more about fearless organizations. If you want to hear more about psychological safety in your workplace, if you want to create that psychologically safe workspace, hit that subscribe button so you can see what we're going to talk about next. Have an amazing rest of your day and go be great.